Good day, everyone. I'd like to talk about Venus square Saturn in your natal chart and how you bring that energy into every single relationship you have. Because whatever we carry in our natal chart, we carry with us in the world. And other people can activate our Venus square Saturn. I carry Venus square Saturn. Johnny Depps carries it as well. And I want to talk about his chart to show you how things get ignited with Venus and Saturn when it either comes via transit or a partner you're with ignites it. So when you carry Venus square Saturn, you feel like you are programmed to always have to work at love, at your own love story. You wonder if love is going to slip out of your hands. You feel like you get so close, and then for whatever reason, it just becomes a huge obstacle. And when you carry Venus square Saturn, it's really about your self-worth. What are you feeling worthy of in love? What were the early programs you received in love? Venus square Saturn is especially challenging when it falls on the north, the south, the east, or the west angles, otherwise known as the ascendant, the descendant, the IC, or the midheaven. You know, the 3 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, the 9 o'clock, the 12 o'clock positions in your chart. Those houses, the first house, 4th, 7th, 10th, however you want to look at the chart, when it's on the angles, it's a bitch. When it's in those houses, it's a bitch. Mine falls between the 4th house and the 7th. It's a bear. Johnny Depps falls between his 10th and his 7th. It's a bear. I think Britney Spears has it also, and I think hers falls between her 1st house and her 4th. Don't quote me on that, but I think Britney Spears also has this. Dustin Hoffman, I believe, has it too. If you Google Venus square Saturn, you will see who carries this, and it will help you understand it. But anyway, Venus square Saturn gets programmed. For me, I was programmed pretty much when I was in my mother's womb, when she was carrying me, because she was very distraught. She was married to a very successful attorney in Northern California. My mother was a nurse. And after she had my sister, they had so much fun with her, they decided, let's have a second baby. So that's where I came into play. And at the time I was in my mother's womb, almost my mom was ready to have me. My father had kind of started flirting with another female, which later became my stepmom. Anyway, when you are a mom and you're married and you carry a baby and you find out your lover, your husband, is now loving maybe someone else, you carry that trauma of what you're feeling around heartbreak and love in the womb, and the baby picks it up. In my case, it was me. So early on in the womb, because I'm very empathic, when you're an empathic child, you pick it up. It was programmed early on for me. I didn't know it, of course, because I'm too young, right? When I came out of the womb, I didn't know it. But it was later when I started getting into my love relationships, when I started, looking at the whole dynamic around love, and what does love really mean to me, and what is love universally, and what is love in family, and what is love in relationships. And I couldn't understand why I would always feel really heartbroken and heartsick around my mother. I always felt this emotional pain with her. I always felt her pain that she carried in the real world. And then I would get in these romantic relationships, and some of them were amazing and wonderful. And other times I would self-sabotage the relationship. I would immediately, I would put obstacles in the way. Either I would attract the wrong partner, which would kick me to the curb, or I would just make it not work myself. I would run away from it. I was scared because I was like, oh my gosh, I have the programming early that, trauma, their love is difficult, love is challenging, love is traumatic. And what do you think you do with that when you don't know it? You don't know what you don't know. Venus square Saturn is a bitch aspect to have around love, relationships, period. It is. And I will attest to it. I would say in my chart, it's been one of the biggest challenges that I've had to overcome. The main challenge is the self-worth, the self-love. And I find when you carry Venus square Saturn, you have to constantly remind yourself you are worthy of love, just like anybody else is worthy of love. And you have to change the program. You have to change that square into a heart. You do. Not always easy. I'm making it sound, trust me. I work with this every day, and I'm a mature person now. I work with this every day. Okay? So my programming came early in the womb. It got activated when I got in the world. That's when it activates. In Johnny Depps' case, let's take a look at his chart, because what I want to say is he carries Venus square Saturn between his career and his relationship sector. And, love is painful. Love has been painful for him. His relationships have been painful. His relationships are important to him. They're probably everything to him, as mine have always been. But they're also the biggest source of pain and challenges and hurdles. And I feel for him, and I was wondering why I was so drawn to his trial that's going on right now, May of 2022, and that's the reason. I feel his pain. I feel it. And so he's got Venus square Saturn. He has Venus in Taurus, and his Saturn is in Aquarius. I think his Saturn natally is at 23 degrees. And so what is going on now? Well, the first issue that's happening is he carries Venus square Saturn already, natally. Now when his Venus or his Saturn gets ignited by a conjunction or his Saturn return, it's even going to be even more intense. Right now, at this moment in time, Johnny Depp is having his second Saturn return, igniting his natal Saturn. Where is he? He's in a court of law fighting this relationship situation. Her Venus is in Taurus. Her Venus in Taurus hooked on to his Venus in Taurus and rode that in to the relationship. So she brought the Venus part of the ignition to amplify the Venus square Saturn because she is bringing a Venus conjunction. Remember, Venus, anybody who conjuncts his Venus, anybody who conjuncts his Saturn, or when it comes in a transit, is going to ignite that Venus square Saturn chart. So he's got a lot going on. I'm not surprised. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But she ignited him, and she came in from the career angle, the 10th house, the reputation angle. The 10th house is all about our career, our reputation. She zapped onto that, and what's going on in the court of law? He is suing her for defamation because what did she do? She defamed him in the career. It's in the chart. It's in the chart. It's there. So what he's suing her for is the truth, in my opinion, from the astrology. Does that mean he's a saint? No. I'm not saying that. It takes two to make a relationship work. How could this have worked out? Because I believe all relationships can work out. It works out when you, the person carrying Venus square Saturn, is really aware of when you're going to be triggered. You're going to be triggered when someone hooks onto your Venus. You're going to be triggered when someone hooks onto your Saturn, or when you yourself are having Saturn transits. And if you carry Venus square Saturn, you really need to watch your first Saturn return and your second. When I had my first Saturn return, this is no joke. I landed in a therapist's office for the very first time. And I cried. I couldn't stop crying. It was all about love. It was all about heartbreak. It was all about my relationships. It was all about the family dynamics. It was all about all the bullying I received. It was all about all the jealousy I received. It was all about the trauma of my formative years and that, my dad, the whole abandonment issue thing and all this crap. And so you need to, if I was Johnny's astrologer, I would say, Johnny, are you aware that you carry this energy? Because you need to be very delicate with yourself. You need to be very careful with this energy. You need to be very careful of who you get involved with romantically, because you're going to want love. Everybody wants love. But the roadblocks that come with Venus square Saturn, you need to know they're there. You need to know how to approach them. And so I would be telling him, you carry this. Watch who you get involved with. You really need to look at the synastry. And you really need to look at, is your partner willing to work with you? Are you willing to work with them? Because it will never work. A Venus square Saturn will never work if you're not willing to work with it. And so where it goes wrong is, like I mentioned in my first video about synastry, is when both parties are totally not even aware of what's going on with the energy. It's a total disaster then. One party might be aware. That can still be a disaster. It works the best when both parties are aware and you know it. And that's why it's so important to know who you are in relationship with and who is activating your Venus and who is activating your Saturn. And what are the transits for 2022? Are they hitting that Venus or that Saturn? This is a bear to deal with on itself natally. To have it activated makes it even harder. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Know if you carry Venus square Saturn. No, I am telling you, it is a difficult energy around love and relationships. Learn about how to work with it early. Know that you need to constantly remind yourself, almost brainwash yourself, that you are worthy of love. You are worthy, you are worthy, you are worthy. No matter what happens in your relationships, you're worthy. Take your time, go slow. Don't keep jumping in from one relationship to another, especially if you're not self-aware and you carry Venus square Saturn. Not good, folks. Okay? So I'm going to end there. Know if you carry this, and I'll talk to you soon.